can't murder liberation. You can murder revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Political Discourse. Let's get right to it. So this just came in. I got hold of this not too long ago. This concerns a white Jewish school board being exposed for some type of funding irregularities. Okay, let's put it like that. However, though, this Jewish school board sits. It's a school board that regards or concerns Black students. All right. Again, the school board is mostly is white Jewish individuals, men. I went and got this clip, like I said, because someone enlightened me about it. So I went and got it. I looked at it and I said, oh no. And I got to thinking, hey, man, this is part of what's been going on in terms of educating Black children. Let me show you this clip because I tell you, man, look here. Well, before we get to that, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to the Art of Political Discourse. Your participation and viewership with this channel, it enables us to go and find more informative and educational content for you, the people. Okay, that being said, let's go check this out because I'm telling you guys, this may make you a little angry, to say the least. Okay, so here we go, and this is courtesy of Tyler. All right, this guy, a whole lot about this guy, man, does pretty good stuff.
School board was majority private school owners, mainly Jewish white men, and most of our school was not Jewish, and they had control over a public school system over like the.
Okay, she said the majority of white Jewish men, private school owners, sitting on a school board, a city, a state school board. I find that hard.
Past 10 years, purposely voting no on our school budget vote so that way we would fail, and we lost about 3-2 schools.
Basically, through block voting, Orthodox Jews won enough seats to control the East Ramapo school board.
Okay, so Orthodox Jews accused of controlling New York town's education system. Tensions are running high in Rockland County over the $3.2 million sale of HILLCREST Elementary School to a New Square YESHIVA. Okay, a new Square YESHIVA. That gets me to wondering. Okay, what is a yeshiva? Gets you to wondering, doesn't it? Okay, so that's that, and wow, they're running the dang thing, man. And that a yeshiva, by the way, is a traditional Jewish educational institution focused on the in-depth study of the Torah, the Talmud, and rabbinic literature. Okay, that's, I guess that's literature in terms of how to be a rabbi. But anyway, this is occurring in New York, and this was at the Rockland County, concerning $3.2 million sale of HILLCREST Elementary School. Let's get this, man.
And went on to eliminate hundreds of public school positions.
Okay, so in 2009, the board began gutting the public school system. And again, this is a board of white Jewish men. The report states, between 2009 and 2014, the board fired over 450 staff, including 160 teachers, 3 guidance counselors, and all social workers. It also cut budgets for athletic and extracurricular activities in half. What's going on here?
Like teachers and social workers, while approving millions of taxpayer dollars to be spent on their children's religious.
Okay, so that money was spent on the yeshiva school, okay, the traditional Jewish education institutions. But this reads, but as public schools suffered, funding for the private yeshivas went up. Between 2010 and 2014, spending for private school buses increased from $22 million to $27.3 million. The school board also increased funding for special education in private schools by 33%, while laying off 15 special education teachers in public schools, according to the New York School Department of Education or whatever. Okay, that's their report.
private schools, ultimately gutting the public school system for the estimated 9,000 black and brown public school students.
And there it go.
While diverting that money to their private religious schools.
They give us food that's rotten and it's cold and it hurts our stomach.
I ask you, do not take our music program away. I love playing an instrument. My brother would be crushed.
And the budget cuts were so devastating that in one instance, an elementary school shut down and the majority Jewish school board then voted to sell it to a Jewish.
So East Ramapo complete school sale to yeshiva tenants. Spring Valley East Ramapo officials say they finalized the sale of Colton Elementary School to their longtime yeshiva tenants, putting the district on track to make $10 million from real estate deals this year if a second sale closes as planned. I got a lot to say about this after this.
Yeshiva for pennies on the dollar. Basically, the poorest, most vulnerable kids in these communities had their schools gutted and looted, all by a majority Jewish school board whose kids didn't even attend public school.
We believe that some of the decisions that have been made by the board have not been in the best interest of the public school community.
You don't like it, find yourself another place to live.
How was your education?
My education, it was decent, but it definitely could have been better if we had the resources that we were allowed to have. But again, for the past 10, 15 years or so, people have been purposely voting no on our school budget vote. So that way we had no funding and money for our school.
And that's part of the problem we see, especially where our children go to school in these districts. You know, most of the people who sit on these boards, these school boards, their children do not attend those same schools. Now, that being said, we also should keep in mind that most of these school boards, they do cut funding to these schools, elementary schools, starting with elementary schools to middle school and, the others. This is a process that we think, a lot of us think, is done to miseducate or not provide appropriate education for our students, for these black students in these schools. It's no wonder a lot of children, detest school. There's nothing to be learned, or there's nothing taught in these schools that would interest these children, especially in terms of preparing them for their future. Now, when you have a school board like the one we're seeing here in New York, this is an insult. If you don't like it, move out. So not only they're trying to take the schools, they're trying to take the real estate around the schools. It seems to be an effort here to relocate people. Same thing we see in the Middle East. We see right here. It's no different, just another location, just another location, same tactics, a school board full of white Jewish men in an area, a district full of black children. Come on, man.
And, that was done purposely.
And who was voting no?
Majority, the Jewish community. You drive around here, you'll literally see signs saying vote no for a school budget, which I think is crazy. Luckily, we were able to get a ward system to be able to get 3 seats for the wars. But if it wasn't for that, we still would be majority white Jewish men voting for public school students that they don't care about. Yeah, and they purposely go out their way to isolate us. We're basically isolated to the point where we feel like this isn't our home.
A lot of people like to say they're ducking taxes and all that. There's truths and lies to that, but I could only tell you that I've only seen the bad part. The bad part is I've seen houses get broken down. I've seen
Muncie mega developer. Don't assume it's Orthodox only. I have a lot of concerns and skepticism regarding that kind of community being able to develop within Rockland County. And again, I just said, hey, man, it looks like it's one of them situations where they're trying to relocate people, a people that has been in this area or that area for generations, probably. I'm quite sure of it, but now here they come, developers, educators, and they're trying to relocate the populace so they could do what? If they relocate these people relocate because things are so stressful in terms of education, in terms of being ostracized, then who moves in? What community, who will feel or make up that community once the black move out of the community, the black and brown? Then who replaces them, you know?
In certain spaces, buildings get destroyed for, let's just say, for more kosher customs. You feel me? So,
School board was majority private school owners, you know, mainly Jewish white men, and most of it.
That was a nice way to put it. Okay. For more kosher customs. All right. So we just saw that piece. And again, that was New York. Okay. So just imagine, use your imagination, people, just for a minute. Where else is this taking place? Where else is this taking place? Where else do we see schools or school budgets, funding for school budgets suffering? You know, the budget's becoming less and less for these, you know, these children to get a proper education, you know, in not just the education, but in terms of meals, you know, healthy food, you know, food that's edible. You know, we see this occurring. We see this occurring. And I'm telling you guys, man, the art of political discourse have been saying this now for over a month. We aren't focusing. We aren't paying attention. And the problem with that is probably because there's so many distractions being pushed in our view and our focus. You know, it's blocking our focus, these distractions, so that, you know, if we're distracted, we can't pay attention to our children's education. Not only that, but what they're being fed while they're at school. Not only that, but the school itself. How is it being funded? How does that funding or lack thereof affect the education of the child? It's a lot going on, man, and a lot of us don't pay attention to this stuff. And this is the gambit. Those who want to remove or gentrify, whatever the case or clause or term they want to use, you know, this is what, you know, these are tactics being employed, all right, or deployed, you know what I mean, against the people. We're so caught up in a lot of this minutia, like a lot of this stuff is frivol. A lot of what our focus is on, you know, and that's intentional. So we don't know what's really going on, you know, in terms of our children's education, be it your child, your grandchild, your great-grandchild. If we're not focused, if we're not keeping up on what's going on in the world, then that means something is going on that we have no knowledge of that could very well affect your family, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. You know, that's something to start thinking about. We know that here in California, in Los Angeles, there's a budget issue. You know, in Los Angeles, they're talking about cutting not just jobs, but closing down some schools. Okay. Now, as a result of that, what's the outcome? What's going to come as a result of that? So when that void occurs, what's going to fill that void? More yeshivas? What's going on? Who are these people on these school boards? We're not paying attention, you know, and this is why we see a lot of what we see going on. The funding for schools is down, you know, school programs, after school, all this stuff, man, this stuff is happening for a reason. And most of us fail to see what that reason is. Okay. Now, I just want to say that. And again, the piece I did, it was courtesy of Tyler. Now, and it's alleged that this occurred and it happened some few years back. However, do not take it for granted that it's not happening now. Investigate, people. You know, you parents who have children in these elementary schools, these middle schools, start going to them school board meetings, them PTA meetings. Start finding out what's going on with your child's education just as much as what's going on with the funding of the school he attends. Who is on the school board? Who is on the school board? Who are making these decisions to cut funding, or who is making these decisions to educate your child? What type of curriculum is being used to help these children to become more knowledgeable, educated? This is something we need to find out, okay? Please like, share, follow, and subscribe to this channel. We appreciate your viewership and your participation. All right. So much so we tend to try to find that what is more informative and educational for the masses. Now, that being said, take care of yourselves and each other.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't